Hello, my name is Caitlin Underwood. Today is September 3rd, 2019, and I will be discussing climate change with you today. Climate change is a very real natural occurrence that human beings have made worse over the decades. As temperatures continue to climb to new records, areas of our planet are changing drastically. This is our home. We need to figure out a way to take care of it before Earth is altered to an unlivable extent. Many people believe that climate change isn't actually happening, but that's false. Some of you may have seen the Twilight Zone episode where the world just gets hotter and hotter until there's total chaos outside and there's no water. While that episode shows a very dramatic portrayal of climate change, it isn't fully inaccurate. Climate change can affect everyone, whether it's something small like the summer's getting hotter than the last, or something much larger like the glaciers melting. It's understandable how people would believe that this doesn't affect them, but as I continue, you will see otherwise. On August 28th, NASA posted an article by Kate Ramsayer about Greenland glaciers and how they've changed over the past 5 decades. According to NASA, approximately 90% of the surface of Greenland's ice sheet melted at some point between July 30th and August 2nd. During which time an estimated 55 billion tons of ice melted into the ocean, according to the National Snow and Ice Data Center. This can cause quite a problem, considering if the glaciers melt, the sea levels will rise, and many of our beloved beach areas will be wiped out. In fact, August 29th, Harry Cockburn of The Independent wrote that the damage caused by catastrophic superstorms, combined with rising sea levels, can increase by 100-fold more, displacing hundreds of millions of people from coastlines around the world unless more is done to limit greenhouse gas emissions, according to a draft report by the United Nations. Millions of people will be ripped from their homes if we do not start to help our planet rebuild. Luckily, there is a solution that's in the works that will help slow down the effects of global warming. The U.S. and South Korean scientists are working on ways to slow down global warming using icebergs. They are already working on models and simulations showing the effects of global warming over the years and how they can slow it down. As put in the Asian Scientist news article posted on August 28th, the research highlights the roles of icebergs in global climate change and sea level rises. Depending on how quickly the West Antarctic ice sheets disintegrate, the iceberg effect can delay future warmings in cities such as Buenos Aires and Cape Town by 10 to 50 years, which is said by Professor Axel Timmerman, an author of the study. This may not seem like a lot of time, but it's enough time to figure out a more permanent solution or get us to a place where we can figure out more longer-lasting solutions in general. We don't have many years left to turn this around before climate change causes irreparable damage, but if we start now, we can definitely make a difference. Hurricanes are on everyone's thoughts right now. With Hurricane Dorian right around our doorstep, the hurricane has already taken 5 lives in the Bahamas before settling right at our Florida coast. One might argue that climate change hasn't had any major effects regarding the weather, and that's only partially true. A BBC news report from the carbonbrief.org posted today that scientists cannot say whether climate change is increasing the number of hurricanes, but the ones that do happen are more likely to be more powerful and more destructive because of our warming climate. So while we don't really have proof that we're getting more of them more often, the hurricanes we are receiving are more dangerous and life-threatening. Now, there is an argument that people have been slowly destroying the Earth since they first appeared on the planet, and that's a very fair argument. However, a news article from August 29th by the Science Daily posted, while the rate at which the environment is currently changing is much more drastic, we see the effects that human beings have impacted on the Earth thousands of years ago, said Ryan Williams, head of anthropology at the Field Museum. People tend to think that since humans have always been destructive and climate is always changing, there's no need to do anything, as it's just the natural course. Now, while that may be true, it makes sense up to a point, but it doesn't mean we can't start trying to slow down the global warming process. Something important to add is that while today's climate change and environmental destruction are happening more quickly and on a far larger scale than the world has ever seen, um, this actual study helps provide a historical context to today's problems, according to the article. So, with more research in our planet and the humans that inhabit it into the past, we can find a new way to save our home. So, while you can argue that climate change isn't real or that it's a natural occurrence that can't be stopped, you can't deny the fact that we do have some effects on it and that it's affecting our planet.